Hello guys, welcome to the studio. Today we're going to be taking a look at the ratchet and probability. We take a look at the limitations that ratchet and probability have when you access it through different menus on your Akai device. So let's go. Welcome back. We've done a video before, like some couple of weeks back, where we talked about the ratchet. We told you how exactly it works. We gave you the full features of what ratchet could do, and so we will not be going back into, oh yeah, this is a ratchet now, and then let's start explaining to you what it can do, the formulas and all that. No. So we'll take a look at the other areas on your device where you can find ratchet and how best to use it, because trust me, each of them have their own limitations when you are using it in a particular place. So what I'm going to do is, let me see. I currently have a bit I'm working on, which is the bit of the week. So let me just try and go mute some things. Yep, let me mute this. Let me mute this to make it kind of like more just, interesting and clear enough for us to understand. So let me stick with this trap kit anthem. Now, what we're going to do is, the first place where you know that, okay, you have your ratchet is if you go to your grid view, right? And in your grid view, like we said earlier, if you click on velocity in one of our previous videos, you see probability and ratchet. And how does it work? You need to have it, selected, the particular MIDI event that you want to ratchet. You select it, then you drag this up, and the more you drag, you actually see, okay, fine, now how many percentages, sorry, how many bits am I really trying to ratchet here? 1 to 8, the highest you can do per MIDI event. So that works for your track. If you're in your grid view, if you are the type that want to granularly edit your MIDI, you want to granularly edit your MIDI event. So as you can see here right now, this 1.4 to 2. This is the fourth beat in the first bar, right? And in the fourth beat, it has actually, we've used the timing correct to divide it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Which means 8 by 4. That's, I'm guessing this is on 132. So now, here we are, 8 here. It means if you click on any of these boxes, any of these, timing divisions, you can actually cut it into 8 or less if you are using your ratchet to, dissect it. Let me increase this further so you see. Now, here we are. This is actually just one of the 8, as you can see. But I always told you, I think I did in the previous video, that if you want to use your ratchet to modify, it is advisable that you click on that particular MIDI event and edit the end, so it occupies the entire, divisions of that time. Then you can now apply your ratchets. Do you get? So if you apply your ratchet, okay, if I bring the ratchet up, now as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I can take it up to like 8. As I'm doing it, you can see the time here. It is I can see how many, and once I take my hands off, it's gone. Then I will now see the lines as it's been divided, which means here inside, oh, let me undo that, undo. Let me just take it back to the beginning. Yeah. So now it means from here, it is easier for you inside your grid view to use ratchet to, work on your particular, how do I put it, individually, your MIDI event. Or you can actually select a whole bunch of the MIDI events and do it all at once. That is what is obtainable within your grid view. Another place where you can find ratchet is here in your step sequencer. Exactly. So in your step sequencer, you realize that you can actually find your ratchet. It's right here. What you have here before is velocity and the volume, track volume. But now there's ratchet and probability there. Now, the same thing applies here. You can also add ratchet here the same way you would in your grid view. But the thing is, what I like about here is it gives you more control to actually add your ratchet here from the step sequencer, because you actually see what is happening live and you can actually tell right? Even without, looking too much, you actually see how many of those ratchets you are applying. So let me play this and let's see how we can add ratchets to this beat. Let me just play from the beginning. If I click on this, it's assumed that, okay, if I want to work there, then as I'm increasing it, you can see number is showing there. Number is showing, and at the same time, I'm able to apply ratchet in a more granular form. Did you hear that? That's just what ratchet can do for you. Now, so you can take it up higher, but the higher it goes, the more distorted it becomes. Yeah, so it's better if you are dealing with a smaller, with a tinier, or do I put it like a smaller time division? Yes, it's better to make sure what you are, the ratchet you're applying is low. But if you're dealing with a timing division that is high, maybe like 1 of 4, 1 of 8, yeah, you can increase your timing. You can increase your, the ratchet. Now, let's undo all of this. Undo. Now, stop. The third place where you can find it is on 16 levels. And this has been my favorite of all time in terms of, how do I put it? In terms of usage, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about ratchet and 16 level. I'm talking about 16 level for me generally. Like hardly will I make a beat without making use of 16 level to do one thing or the other. So yes. Now let's take a look at the 16 level and then let's come back to the main. Now 16 level, you tap it, you see what you have here as well on your type. Before now, you have like a lot of other things: decay, attack, velocity. Now you have probability and ratchet. I was still talking about probability, but not now. Then like told them, but no. So let's take a look at ratchet. What we have here. Now, what you need to know is you've split that particular ratchet across the bars, and you're saying from 1 to 8, just be divided here. I observed one thing, which is right now while we're on ratchet and we're on A2, 1. This plays just once. This also will play once. This one will play once. This will play 2 times. And this 2 times. The next 2 3 times. The next 2 4 times. And the next 2 5 times. Continues like that. 6 times. 7 times. And then 8. Do you get? So the 16 is just divided in such a way that it can actually give you from 1 to 8 of the particular part you're working with. So 1 1 1 2. Now, where am I going with this? This does not apply to your timing correct. This actually applies to your beat. I repeat, this applies to your beat. It doesn't apply to your timing. Like it will give you this particular breaking down it's doing for you, this ratcheting is doing, it will do it across a beat. Let me show you. If you come to your grid view, and we're currently working on A2, right, which is this guy. If I should do a recording now, and let's say I do an overdub, and I start applying this ratchet, it will apply it over a complete set of beats. Like it can put everything on this, first bar, third beat, everything. It will occupy the whole space, and it will divide it by the number of whichever ratchet value it's carrying here. Let's take a look at it. So overdub, let me just play. This is it. You see 3 times across the entire beat. Now let me undo that and do this one 5 times. It's across the entire beat. Okay, let's undo. Let me do 7 times. It's still across that one entire beat. undo. Let's do the 8 times across the entire beat. Now let's say even just 2 times. You can see across the entire beat. So now, thank you. Now what we're trying to say in essence is the limitation of this particular ratchet, if you are using it in 16 level, just note that it might not apply it to your timing correct in terms of, okay, this is maybe like you want it to actually hit that particular note the way we've been doing it with the grid and then the step sequencer. No, this will spread it across the particular beat, an entire beat, and it will chop it in that order. There are times it is useful, there are times it doesn't and might not really just blend in your song. So you are the one that will know, okay, based on the kind of beat I'm making right now, which ratchet will make my work a lot easier. Do you get? Which ratchet am I supposed to use? Am I supposed to use the one that basically will just spread it over that beat, or I'm supposed to use the one that I can easily manipulate and control from either the step sequencer or from the, you know, grid view? Now it is left for you to decide. And sometimes you might also find yourself not properly or thoroughly getting what you need if you're using the ratchet. Reason being, maybe you want to still divide kind of like half of the of that particular the time division you are currently working on. Maybe you don't want to start from the beginning, things like that, and you don't want to start editing the end or the start. You can still go back to the old way. And how is the old way? It's still here. Note repeat. Your note repeat is still there to do the same thing that ratchets can do, right? And even at that, if you still go back out, let's say you go to your main. Do you get? You can still go to your track. You can edit it and split event. Split event will still do the same thing that ratchet is doing. So now let's just put it this way simply. Not that we've not been using ratchets before, or the ratchet feature, something that is close to ratchet. We've been using it before, and that is split event and also our note repeat. But just that it's good now that they thought of the fact that, you know what, let us put it in a way where it will be easier for every producer to access and then, you know, play around with it a lot more, because people use it a lot, you know, now that trap and all those drills are raining. Yeah, fine. But now what you need to understand is, left for me, probability and ratchet. If we are to pick, I would say probability is something that we've not actually seen before here. There is nothing that I've seen, you know, that could actually mimic probability for me here before. The only thing that can actually do that comes close would be if, okay, let's say a good example, let me go back to my mix. No, let me go back to main and then pad. Where is my let me see, I'll show you where that is. Yeah, program edit. If I go to program edit and I said maybe something to maybe random, do you get? Like I set a particular listen to random, play or do not play. That is kind of like what we're saying, but maybe like probability. And random is kind of like if I have maybe 2 or 3, you know, layered beats, and then I just want you to just play whichever one for me. That's when we're talking about random. Okay, you know what, I have more than one there, and then just play any one. Don't play it in order, don't play them together, randomize everything. Do you get? So that is what I can say is kind of like closer to, or the closest to what you can get with probability. But probability in itself, it's a whole different feature entirely, which means it's giving the probability to play something or not to play it. It's not randomizing. There has been nothing like it on this device. So yeah, respect to that. And like I said, ratchet has been there, just that, you know, kind of like now repackaged and given to us in a better and more refined way. I believe now you understand, well, with what we've shown you currently. You can now tell, okay, you know how to use your ratchet, and you know where you can, you know, come across ratchet, the other places that you have your ratchet. That'll be all for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you in the next one.